Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Audit Podcast. I'm your host, Trent Russell, and we are guestless today. But what we want to do is, considering the time of year and the giving season, at least in the part of the world that I live in, we wanted to give something away to the audience. One of the reasons that I started this podcast was because there is no book on how to be a CAE. There's a lot of CEO books, CMO, CDO now, Chief Data Officer books. CFO, like go to Amazon and type in CEO book, CFO book, whatever. Type in CAE book, not a lot of good stuff out there. And that was the case until somewhat recently when Navin Pasrika wrote a book called Getting Ready to Roar, Chief Auditor's Guide, Audit Room to Boardroom. So we are going to have Navin on the show in 2026, but this is something that, again, I've been looking for years. There's various books that do hit on, obviously there's a lot of audit books, but this is the one that I've been looking for and what we've tried to create through the podcast. I've jokingly said we started the podcast because I tried to write a book and spent 5 minutes on it and then went, I would rather just talk in front of a microphone instead of having to do this. So book writing is not for me. So this is the goal for the podcast for a long time, is like, let's tease out what a CAE typically does. Let's get their guidance and let's share it across everyone who is current CAE or looking to become a CAE, just to help the profession. Now I think we have it in a bit much more compact way in Navin's book. If you need further proof of, like, even if when we give the book away, if you don't get it, why you should go ahead and get it anyway. For those that are familiar with Hal Guerin, he's been on the show multiple times. He's on Richard Chambers' top internal audit thought leaders list, I think 3, 4, 5 years in a row, however long Richard's been doing it. Hal has always been on the list. If you follow Hal on LinkedIn, you also know he reads like a book a week or a book a day. It's kind of hard to keep up, honestly, but he reads a lot of books and posts about it very consistently to say he's read X amount of books so far this year. I think he wants to read like a book a week. Anyway, Hal reads a lot of books. And so I came across this post from Hal a month ago where he basically said the same thing, or is echoing the same sentiments and thoughts that I have on Getting Ready to Roar, and said it's really great. It's really great. He bought it himself. He also is sharing it with basically anyone who will listen to him. And so, again, this just kind of further adds to why I think everyone should check this out. I've had people in these like tech startups recently who that I've talked to, and they reach out and they go, what, point me to some resources, or they came across the podcast and go, like, I'm learning about the industry through the podcast. What else do you have? And I go, read this book. This is the one that I would highly recommend, in addition to some Norman Mark stuff and some Richard Chambers stuff. But anyway, with all of this said, what we are doing is we are going to give away one copy of the book. And how we're going to do it is somewhat raffle style. So you should see, today's going to be a Tuesday. You can see how well I've thought this out. So on December 23rd, today, we will post about this on LinkedIn. You can go to either the Audit Podcast and find it from there, or you can go to Trent Russell, my LinkedIn profile, find it from there. Engage with a post, add some kind of comment. We're not going to do like in the post, we're not going to say like, comment to get the book, but we're going to do it through the podcast instead. And so do that, and we will just let literally any comment is fine. And we will raffle that off. The other way, or in addition to that, you can, if you go to either iTunes or Spotify and leave a review of the podcast on there, like a written review, as well as, I think after you write it, you have to hit like the 3, 4, 5 stars, whatever it is. We'll throw you in there for an additional entry. We're going to go based on the honor system on those. I know that for comments, like usually it's not someone's first and last name. But if the comment is left by Boy Mama 5, and I know you're a single dude, I'm probably going to exclude that entry from the contest. So you can take that screenshot. You can send it to me on LinkedIn. You can email it to me. My email's out there on the internet, pretty easy to find. But if not, Trent, Trent.Russell, Russell at gskanalytics.com. Send that over to me. We'll do a drawing over the break over the next week, and then we will announce the winner and get that shipped out to you. Again, if you aren't the winner, I would still highly recommend going to Amazon and checking the book out. With that said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, enjoy the time off for those that have it. So with that said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the good stuff. We will see you all in 2026. Our first episode in 2026 is from our friend Pat Neiman over at EY, who's going to talk about 2026 risks to keep an eye out on. So we'll see you again in 2026. Take care, everybody. Hey everyone, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Audit Podcast. Whatever platform you're listening on right now, I'm sure there's a subscribe button somewhere, so please hit the subscribe button there. If you're listening through iTunes or Spotify, feel free to go give us that 5-star rating. It only took me about 16 seconds to give myself a 5-star review, and it really helps to get future guests to come on the show, so we'd really appreciate that. Lastly, be sure to check out the show notes and follow us on all our social media channels on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on TikTok. Also, if interested, please sign up for our weekly newsletter from the Audit Podcast. Thank you all. Have a great one.